goodness. Losing my marbles. This is a box. Yeah, I open up StreamYard thinking, well, I'll just, sign in a little bit early, only to realize that I forgot to create the stream. Sheesh. So it may be you and me, kid. Oh, we have somebody else there. Holy cow. This is a box, and I will, good company. I will get to this in a moment. Of course, there's a story to go along with that. But maybe while we're waiting for a few more people to show up, I will show you the results of what I did after the camera stopped last time. So remember, I was stamping, I was copying, unabashedly copying Trudy's brilliant idea for a masterboard. And I'd stamp these butterflies on one of the sheets. So I went on to do, oh, hi, Susie. Hi, Libby. So these are the butterflies that I stamped on that one sheet. I don't know if can't remember if I did the whole sheet or not, but you can see, and I haven't done anything more to them. I did cut off all their antennae. So there are those. I had only traced around 3 of these leaves. This was a stencil. And I don't know if I showed you. Did I show you the maze? I even did some partial ones because sometimes that helps. Hi. Just remind me, Beach and Gypsy, remind me of your first name, please, so that we don't have to call you Gypsy. So this, the butterflies are beautiful. Thank you. These are the things that I cut out of the master board. Oh, cat. Okay. These are the things that I cut out of the master board last week after the video was over, because I was copying, like I have that collab going on through the month of March called Masterboard Madness. And Trudy from Tucker and Tulip Designs came up with a brilliant idea. And these were the flowers. Now, the only one I sort of started decorating in last week's live was that one. So these are the undecorated. But you can see that out of that master board, I got, and these were just calendar pages. What did you win? Oh, was this from Blossom and Inspire yesterday? I was able to catch a lot of that live yesterday, and it was sure fun. Okay, so there are all of those, and then again, some partials that I just eked out of there, because these could be, part of the, they could be used to decorate something or other. Okay, and I didn't do anything more to those. Okay, so today, I said that we would do some stamp carving. The only stamp carving I've done up until now has been with erasers. And I have been driving my... Oh, hi, Cynthia. Okay, last week Kat supplied some gifts for her to send out. I used to decorate hats to hang in the wall, so the little hat was perfect. Okay, if we're talking about Blossom and Inspire, Sandra, I had to cut out before it was over, so I missed that part of it. Okay, so I was just catching you up on this. I will also say, before we get down to the nitty-gritty here, I will also say that on Saturday, I went to, after months of not being able to attend the Wednesday night meetings because of Heart to Heart, I went to our Odd Page Society meeting. It was at a cafe, a bar, bistro, whatever. And I was just damn happy that I got myself there. Never mind, anything more. Like I didn't bring anything for the swap table. I didn't bring any snits or it was bad. But anyway, some people insisted on giving me snippets. So I just thought I would show these to you because, of course, it represents other people's work. So this is that drywall tape. And then, of course, those are just some digitals. And of course, they pass around this, box or whatever, and you get to choose what you want. I picked her because I thought, well, okay, that's where I'm heading. So this is a little fabric ruffle. This, of course, is very boho. This is just plain old beautiful. Notice on this one that whoever made it, used part of an upholstery sample, so that gives it some heft. Okay, are we almost caught up? Okay, so for those of you, okay, what's happening in the chat? Okay, yeah, good. Plugging Cynthia. We got to see, well, some of us went to her channel, or to her community post on her channel to see some of her collage. And I was trying to encourage her, even if she doesn't want to do videos with sound, like narrate sound, she could definitely do them, without sound. So I hope you take me up on that. Okay, so the last time I did a video on carving stamps, it was using erasers. And so every time I see erasers, particularly different ones, I buy them because, like a regular eraser like this is pretty small. And this is what I had. And it has been driving me insane that I could not find the many, many more that I made. So I've been looking for days and days and days and weeks and months. And finally, today, about 10 minutes before I was going to go live, I looked into this box. Now, some of this stuff, of course, is not, maybe someday we can do something about that, but it's this box in particular that I was looking for. And I just want to show you because, as I said, size is the big limitation here. I'll show you some printed paper or some pages that I stamped using this. So it's not a bad thing, but this is one of my favorites This was a round eraser, a happy face that you put on the end of a pencil. Never seen another one of those. So, again, a variety of shapes and sizes. Love this poppy pod one. Some of these I did on both sides. In fact, maybe a lot of them I did on both sides. So, you know, if you don't want to go whole hog and buy the blocks that I'll show you in a minute, there's quite a bit that you can do with even, you know, these white erasers. And because I hate to waste anything, whoops, let's focus. I don't know. I guess I've tried them out, but I mean, this is almost a waste of time. It's so small. Anyway, I like that one as well. So let me, before I move this out of the way, thanks, Teresa. Yeah, Teresa put a link in the chat where I did, I guess, the first video during 100-day challenge. So that's a few years ago now. And I've done it again more recently. That's when I did these guys. So, like I said, up until a couple of minutes ago, I could not find those things. So I thought, well, the next best thing is to show you what they look like when they've been stamped. Okay, that's not stamps. So you can see that there's the round one I love, and the others that were either freshly inked or as the ink was getting fainter and fainter. And this is printed on kind of a creamy, you know, an ivory colored paper. So obviously, because it's my own stuff, I don't know if I've ever made a digital of these or not, but you can see that there are a lot of, you know, kind of right-sized pieces for using for decorating. This looks bigger, but it's just a repetition of the same stamp over and over, side by side. And this is a photocopy. That's a cardstock. These ones I did more recently, and it looks like, oh, I guess I was testing these during the video because this is on not even good paper. So of course, with the carving, you have to test as you go. So some of these you probably, well, have never seen because I just found them. Again, here is just a repetition. That is a repetition. Let's see if there's anything different. In some cases, I did it on 100-year-old paper and just made a collage. Oh, thanks, Cynthia. Hi, Celia. Oh, well, you're in the right place. I'll show you my tools in a minute, and we'll actually get to work. In some cases, I don't know if I've passed those yet or not, but in some cases, I was using those ombre stamp pads. So that, of course, adds even more, excuse me, even more variety to the look. Okay, that's something else. My printer was acting up here, so I have those little stripes. One nozzle must have been plugged. This is on, looks like this is on tissue paper because there are cutting lines there. So you can see I've played around with this a fair bit. Leaves are easy to, okay, this is more the ombre type thing where it goes from kind of a peachy color to pink. Just trying to see if there's anything you haven't seen. Oh, maybe I do have a digital. I might have a digital. And that's it. That would be in the Etsy shop. Okay. Then yesterday, also in my hunt, plethora of paper. Oh, hi, Mary. Yeah, as I was searching, I also found more things. So this was me having stamped on pattern paper. These are just on strips. I showed you this stamp, just a repetition. Or maybe these were the originals and those were the photocopies. Here the ombre is showing again. You can see that within one stamp there were 2 or 3 colors. I can't tell you how much I love them. That's why I've been hoarding. And then this, could this be any similar? And yet I love it. I thought, oh yeah, these, let me find an end here. These I printed on label paper. So you can peel that off. I'm trying to figure out what size this is. Oh, it's the 2 by 4 size. So it would be a pretty nice size piece that a person could add to something. Again, this really shows the ombre. Okay, that's, oh, I love this one. But again, I love those colors. So okay, enough show and tell. Okay, and just a reminder that if you make your own stamps like this, or on these bigger carving blocks that we're going to use today, you can, oh, look at that. I don't know, poppy on that side and this on this side. Does that Hazel know how to stretch a supply, or does she know how to stretch a supply? If you create your own stuff, then it's yours, to do what you will with. And obviously, you're then free to scan it and sell it and, do whatever. Create a digital. Okay, I'll just pick all this up and then I'll show you the tools, the carving tools. Okay, now this drawer, now they've all been reunited, this is not going to be, unless I pack them better, that will not be big enough. Okay. Thanks, Susie. Okay, so these, well, this is typically how you would buy your tools. This is Speedball brand. They're probably kind of number one in the, well, I shouldn't say that. What do I know? The end, like a screwdriver, the end comes off, and there are other gouges in there. And of course, you just unscrew this, pull this out, put the new one in. I should pick this up so you can see the sizes. So if you have a big surface, obviously, the bigger the blade, sort of, I don't know, really a blade, but anyway, the bigger the tool, the faster it's going to go. If, however, you need some fine detail, you're more likely not excuse me, not to make a boo-boo if you use a fine one like that. Now you may be wondering, well, why do you have 2 of them? Well, I think this one was my original set, and then I came across another one that had an extra piece. Now this is a nicer handle, I think, but anyway. Yeah, so this has a couple more blades to it, like this pointy one here. And I thought, well, okay, I have the tools. Why don't I put kind of a fine one in one handle and you know, another size in the other handle. And then somewhere along the way, I don't even know where or when, I got these. These are flat, like if you can, okay, these two have a bit of a curvature to them, but these two are flat. So I'm not so experienced that I really know where and when to use them, but maybe we'll figure that out soon. Oh yeah, digitals aren't affected by tariffs because of course nothing is shipped. It's just an instant download. Okay, if in your travels to thrift stores and beyond, never, 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 and I do mean never, buy one of these. At the risk of drawing blood, I will try to make a mark in it, but it is very, very difficult. And I think the reason these things, and they come in different sizes, I think the reason these things come up for sale or come up in a thrift store is that they dry out, and I might as well use this as a roadblock. I mean a paperweight or a you know, to even out a wobbly piece of furniture or something. So this has an old price tag of over $8 on it. And it was reduced to 79 cents. It's also Speedball. It's called the linoleum block. And you can see this part here, the wider part is like particle board, so it's heavy. And then the 1/8 inch or whatever is the linoleum part. Now, I am honestly surprised that I could even make a mark in this. So maybe, just because I hate to throw anything away, I might have to, it might end up looking like bird tracks or something, chicken scratch. I might have to give these a second chance. But just save yourself the grief. What we're working on today is something that I got. I put it on my birthday list, and you know, I got a bunch. So I took one out of the package yesterday, and I thought, oh, let's start making some marks. And I kind of went askew quite early in the process. I was then marking where I was going. No, I didn't decide, but I just knew that I should mark off every second one with a little X so that I was consistent in what I was either, you know, I would have to decide what am I leaving and what am I carving away. Thought that this was rather unattractive. So then I started a design that I keep going back to, which is just basically some very, I don't know if I could even find that. It doesn't matter. So it's very, where's my pencil? It's very easy to mark, to make pencil marks on this. And again, I started putting little X's. So I'm just going to make a few more. And again, you can see that it's, you know, probably a chimpanzee could do this. Nothing so great about you know, straight lines. Again, I'm deliberately making my marks making the spaces in between, making the heights, um, and the widths different to get it looking more organic and like a human did it as opposed to sandy. That might be a chisel and a hammer. Um, I don't know. If you heat Sandy is saying, what if you heat the linoleum to make it more pliable? I had teeny weeny ones that were about 3 inches square, and I think I threw those guys out because I got annoyed. Um, but maybe I should just, rather than going any further with the drawing. Oh, did I tell you what size these are? I think they're 4 by 6. Yep. So you can see that you could do something considerably more involved or certainly bigger in size. And I know that when we talked about this last week, someone who was in the live last week suggested using a stencil. Oh, hi, Sandra. Were your ears burning? We were talking about you. Your live was so much fun yesterday. And I have to say, you're really very good at gel printing. Um, I wanna reconstruct what you did with the, following a professional sort of color palette the way you did. Um, mind you, it must have been a large set of paints because you were able to, I think, I don't know that, did you do any tube mixing at all? Any color mixing, or were you using it straight from the tube? Blushing, okay. Uh, so let me find, maybe I should find a wider gouge if I can. Just to, again, because that'll save some effort. I notice that sometimes it's almost like, depends how you hold your tongue as to whether or not this goes in on the first attempt. It's finding the sweet spot between how much to unscrew this thing, doing a little bit of jiggling, and then, of course, tightening it. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, and you do want to tighten it because, of course, if it will cut through this, it will cut through skin quite nicely as well. So let's just randomly pick a spot to go through here. Now, I can have these guidelines as just that, a guideline, but, sometimes a person's, pressure or steadiness or whatever is going to alter. I see that I went deeper in some places. And I'll just continue going this way. So obviously the part that I'm removing will become the negative space. And the part that remains raised will be the part that makes contact with the stamp pad and picks up the color. Maybe this is where one of these straight ones would be really good. Make a nice sharp line. But again, I think that the more sort of wobbly and real you can make your marks or do your cuts, the more likely the more attractive it's going to be in the end. Because honestly, if somebody wanted perfection, they wouldn't do their own. They would just Okay, okay. She's saying straight from the tube. Okay. They were stunning. Then my son-in-law called to warn me the 1-year-old granddaughter had learned to crawl out of her crib. That is an eye-opening day for sure. Yeah, right. All bets are off. Yeah, you just hear the little thud when they uh hit the floor when they well not hit the floor, but they land. So a 1-year-old, that's kind of early, isn't it? Of course, if I left these little, I don't know if you can see, but if I left this little ridge here, so my tool wasn't wide enough to do that whole thing in one fell swoop. So I did 2 passes. This little ridge here, maybe if I color it, this little ridge here, if I were to leave it, and maybe I will, till we do our first test, would create additional marks. They may be beautiful, or they may be the last thing you want. So let me do a little more cleanup in between. So for those of you who weren't at Sandra's live yesterday, rest assured that after months of talking and whatever, I don't know, we didn't really negotiate, I don't think. Sandra has finally been nailed down to do a heart-to-heart. And circle that date on your calendars. Um, just a minute, let me catch up. Freezing, no more snow, and the sun is trying to come out. So, Kat, where do you live? I know that girl was going to be a go-getter early in the pregnancy. She was so active. Yes, I'm carving a stamp. Yeah. Well, I find that there isn't that I like those emojis. That there is very little resistance. I need to take this part out too. So, Sandra, before you got here, I was showing the lovely people all the stamps that I've carved in erasers. You know, all kinds of erasers. When there's back to school season is always a fun one for me because sometimes you can find, you know, the big ones. Here are some different shapes. And I also showed what they looked like after I had stamped them, either on plain paper or on page. Okay, after a while, it gets pretty hard to see what's what here. So maybe just for the heck, now it'll make it a little more messy. You know what? For now, especially in these wider spaces, I do have those little gouges left. So maybe just for the heck of it, we should try stamping this and see what's what. And honestly, once something is gone, obviously you can't put it back. So it might be a good idea to test more often than you think you need to. I'm just using an office stamp pad. Not very juicy though, so I might have to switch. I have a red one here. We'll see what that does. Oh, and Sandra, the other thing, oh, Alabama and the wind. Teresa, I would totally cut myself. I've been banned from using a mandolin slicer because I also almost took the tip off my finger off. I don't sell my handmade stamps, but I'm thinking that, okay, this part is obviously hasn't even been carved, but oh, so these little guys here, I guess I went so deep that they're too far down to even pick anything up. So we will carry on. Now I suppose I didn't think of it up until just this minute. I think, Sandra, that I have some digitals made up of some of my stamped pages. I'll just quickly show you some of them, you know, where I've combined. Some of these this is sticker paper. So I tried to put a variety of stamps on a page. This circular one is one of my favorites. In a variety of tones too, so that this is just repeating one on both page. Some obviously freshly inked and some nearly dry. And some of these are, I think this folder is probably mostly, well, a combination of photocopies and originals. Anyway, okay. I just thought of it now. I could cut this down and then, you know, not have to do the entire thing with the same design, but let's just see. And I kind of thought, you know, first time I'm using this sort of material, and it really, it's like the nicest eraser that you could encounter. So, like with the last time I did stamp carving on erasers, I found that some of them, and I, you know, obviously don't know the difference because no one puts ingredients of their eraser material on the label. Some of them were really hard to do, and some work better than others. So I feel like, what would I cut it with though? Maybe I'll just, because, oh, sorry. No, these are especially for cutting, for carving stamps. Speedball is the brand, and in the end here, like this unscrews like a screwdriver, and there are a variety of tips in there. And these are not brand name carving blocks. I had just put together kind of a birthday wish list off Amazon, and I was lucky enough to get a box full of them. My daughter is the one who ordered them, and she lives in the city, and of course they get service, you know, quickly and whatever. She says it was the first time in all her years of ordering on Amazon that they actually put a heavy warning on the box. So that tells you something. Okay. I think that I want to try something else for here. This I can continue, you know, working on cleaning up, because it is a process of testing maybe being a wee bit cautious because, as I said, once something is gone, it's gone. Now, over here, I don't know if you can see this or not. I should try the red stamp pad. That might show up a bit better. Or I should have re-inked, re-inked these. And I had the thought a little too late in the process of leaving the tiny little ridge marks to see kind of how that would go. Tools of Secret cards. Exactly. Plus, you don't have to, I did go over it, but it doesn't matter. Plus, you don't have to worry about where in the world did I put those attachments. Okay, so again, this is kind of where I stopped. Now, these little skinny lines here are kind of nice. But unfortunately, I didn't think that too soon, or I went down too deep, and that's below, it's not flush anymore. So it, it doesn't pick up. So it is a bit of, I would say a person, you might want to start on erasers first. And honestly, I think as a person now, so of course you don't get a leaf shape eraser. So I would have carved, I can see my knife marks there. And I just basically used whatever, I just tried, I even tried a paisley and it turned out not so bad. Like anybody can do this. See, this reminds me of a fence line. Maybe I should try that on a bigger scale because honestly, you can't go wrong with something like that. This one turned out really well, and you can see that I did leave those in between marks enough that you can see that they did pick up the ink. That's, I guess, my attempt at a rose. Itty bitty ones, because of course I don't want to waste. These erasers that have the beveled edge obviously are a bit stranger to work on. The little tree. Really, there's no big design element here, but yet, oh, little houses. Forgot about them. Okay, let's just maybe try to do something like this one. So again, just a series of lines. Now, what would probably be better, because I have two sets here, maybe I will alternate between the thick and the thin. And I also was showing, I love paisley. Susie. These are other tools. I don't know where or when I got them, but as I showed the ladies at the beginning, these two have straight blades, whereas these others always have that bevel, that actually cuts in. And you can see this one is kind of pointy. This one is a more gradual thing. I honestly don't, well, I guess it is a little bit sharp. I was going to say I don't know that a person would really hurt themselves. Now, I think if a person could apply constant pressure, it would probably be a good thing. I think if a person can go, in one line, now this didn't cut all the way to the edge, but, that may not be a bad thing, or it could be remedied. Um, so I'm just eyeballing. I think if a person was really doing something more complicated, like suppose, a little house and some trees or something, you would probably want to do your pencil drawing on it first. And here, this is what I initially started. I also put X's where I guess X maybe was where I was going to carve out, or maybe I was going to loop it. I don't know. I never got that far. Somehow I didn't like that design, and I started rubbing it off just with my finger, and it did seem to come off. I tried thinking, oh, if my finger works, then a wet wipe would be even. Oh my goodness, girls, are you? Um, um, Teresa, are you an enabler? Oh yes, she asked for your help, and you gave. Well, yeah, Teresa never says no to anybody. So you girls. Um, and honestly, Sandra, there is nothing wrong with just going with a linear design, because really, and don't forget that this collection, and I have many more erasers, that this collection was done over, a fair bit of time. Although I have to say that when you start, it's damn near impossible to stop. Let me just pull out one other thing here. When I did my last video on stamp carving, I showed, oh my God, this is sort of the, if one is good, 40,000 must be better. I finally pulled together all my erasers. So look at this. This probably would have come out like kind of at the start of the school year. So this is a good size. And as I showed you, even on the thinner erasers, that, it's obviously thick enough that you could do a design on both sides. I don't know what this is made of. Maybe I could try digging into it. Here's an even bigger one or two. Do over. So, if you go to the dollar store and you spend $1 or whatever and get 3 erasers or 4 erasers, you can do a lot of apprenticeship and a lot of practicing. Oh, I didn't realize I must have. Oh, here's an actual speedball one. Oh, look at my hand. Okay, what do we have here? This I must have. I don't know. Did I thrift it? This is a Jack Richardson and Company. Easy to cut lino, carvable on both sides, great for block prints, etching, stamp making. Cuts like butter. Creates clean edges, does not become brittle. So I did show that other thing. I don't know, Sandra, if you were here for that part, but I was saying, do not buy it under any circumstances. I was able to chew in a couple little marks, but this is this is like rock hard. So I think you could lose an appendage that way, but I was amazed that I could even make a market for big mistakes. This is so big and thick. You could get 6 different stamps on here. And then I have more of those oval ones. Okay, so yeah, I would suggest if you're interested in this, and everyone should give it a try. What if you got to loot? Now, I think a tool set like this is a purple giant eraser. Yeah. I think that a tool set, like I know I had one surplus one that Caroline on the hillside bought for me. I think they're about 15 bucks or so, maybe on Amazon. And of course, will last you a lifetime. As long as you don't lose it, misplace it in your space, which is apt to happen. And then if I ever came across this kind again, I would definitely buy it. It's the kind that you stick on the end of an eraser, and that's one of my favorites. And you can see, hopefully you can see just how rough it is. But that's how you get that. I want to use the expression painterly. That's how you get that painterly look. You can tell that no machine made that, baby. Okay, let's see if we can make a plaid here of some sort. And the more imperfect it is, I think the more charm it has. And that went deeper than some of these others. So, I think it's like most other things. The more you do it, the better you get. I just got these carving blocks, well, a week or so ago. So, okay, let's try this narrow one and do some cross pieces. Whoops. This is so small. It's like hitting a speed bump in the parking lot. Every time you you get the resistance of the... Anyway, back to Kat, who was talking about it being cold in Alabama. I live in Alberta, and it's, it's still winter here. It's March. But yesterday it was raining like what's up with that? So, of course, as it got cooler, it froze and everything is stippled like I don't know if you people in the States know what a curling ice surface looks like. It's kind of stippled. So everything is stippled. And the crampons that I have for my shoes are safely in the car, in the garage, 100 feet away. So I'm hoping that, well, I think it's definitely melting today, but the same thing will happen as it gets cold. It'll freeze again tonight. So I'm going to have to sneak out and bring those things into the house. Otherwise, you'll be hearing me say that I'm in a body cast or something. Like, it has been such a crazy winter. Like, freezing rain is... It's hard on bodies. It's hard on drivers and, for motor vehicle accidents. I will go across the width of this and then we'll try it and see. Now, if I wanted, again, I'm just eyeballing, so it's not precise. The other thing, I guess, with this tiny one is that, you kind of have to make sure you get the stuff out of there. This didn't come out very cleanly. So the spacing is not even, but I'm hoping that that is going to work in my favor. Still not very good. Now I could change to a different size. Now, I guess it would have been good to try this, like to have that as a plan. Then I would have kind of alternated narrow and wider. So we have to kind of make it look like, okay, she didn't just have a brain fart, it was actually a plan. Oops. I tried to watch Dead Snowman in the backyard and need a little sled to get around. Weather has been incredibly crazy here. Just my kid, okay. Agree with you and the charm. My kids got rid of it when they cleaned out the house. Okay, I'm missing something here. I used to have a set type. I found it at, or take it or leave it at the dump. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Are you talking about these tools? Weather has been incredibly crazy everywhere. So there's a mic or a Michael's link. Oh, 12 degrees. And planted the garden. Holy cow. Yeah, brain fart. There seem to be a few of those. Yeah, those, my daughter gave us those crampon things to put on, you know, the sort of rubbery and have the studded surface to put on our shoes. Well, a few years ago, but of course I didn't. Because it seemed a bit geeky. But this year, there has been so much freezing rain and so many days where, you know, I literally could not have gotten from the house to the garage without breaking my neck. And, you know, I would be so embarrassed, um, you know, like I don't know obviously when I'm going to die, but I don't want it to be one of those preventable things where everyone who comes to the funeral said, well, if only she would have whatever. I would prefer that it be, you know, something different that doesn't make me look like a fool. Oh, maybe if I go a little faster, that seemed to go a little smoother this time. Doesn't this little guy doesn't seem to fully maybe remove the debris as much as the others do. Yeah, so I don't want to be that person who ends up with a broken hip because she was too vain to wear, you know, the little studded things. I was at the chiropractor's one day after, you know, one of those bouts of freezing rain. Now they had cleaned their, you know, cleared their sidewalk. It was good. I mean, it was treacherous from the car to the sidewalk, but so I get into, you know, the guy shows up and I said, so is this good for business, all this ice? And he says, oh my goodness, tell me about it. And he says that he had seen a number of patients where he couldn't, you know, really couldn't help them. They had to get referred to a hospital for more acute type treatment. Oh, you know what? If I wanted to make it look like I had a plan, I could widen this guy. Anyway, I said, I have crampons. I said, so I wore them, but I left them in the car because I didn't think you'd want me you know, walking in with my studded things on your linoleum. And he said that and I hope I haven't told this story. um, he said that he must have been like the trainer on his kid's hockey team or something. And so he would wear those so that if a kid got hurt and he had to, you know, um, penguin walk across the ice to get to the hurt kid, you know, he wouldn't do a face plant. So anyway, for whatever reason, anyway, he says you have to be really careful when you wear those. For whatever reason, he ended up having to go to the Zamboni room. So I'm assuming most of you know something about hockey. The Zamboni, of course, is the machine that scrapes and floods the ice in between periods, so it's a nice smooth surface. So it's sort of steam and it must have a water reservoir, whatever. Anyway, so it is stored off the rink surface in a kind of a utility room, you know, just beside the rink. And the floor of a hockey arena, of course, would be concrete. So anyway, this guy, this chiropractor, for some reason ends up where the Zamboni is, but those little spiky things on his crampons, it was like he was on a polished surface. It's of course on ice would grip, but on concrete they did not. So he fell down, knocked himself out, which is not funny, of course, although I did laugh when he told the story. Knocked himself out, and I guess all season long the joke around the team was, yeah, nobody needed treatment this year except the trainer. So I was, of course, well, you know, very grateful that he told that story because I wouldn't have thought about it. Teresa, I didn't realize you were that close to the Canadian border. Oh yeah. So even with all the snow that we've had, the climatologists or meteorologists or whatever ologists have predicted that it will be drought conditions again this year. And of course, for those of us, okay, see this little speck of erase or whatever this stuff is. So you kind of want to, that's what that boo-boo is, and so is that. So why? Oh, some of these are not that clean a cut. See how this looks kind of weird here? Whereas here it looks like an actual, so this is where you see those little details. Now I probably, oh darn it, I think I gouged into there, so that might have made that a little sloppier. This one I didn't cut all the way through. You can see by that little pink line. Yeah, it's funny that somebody in Alabama would love hockey. But I suppose if there are teams in Florida and in the desert in like Las Vegas and so on, I can imagine how those ice plants have to work overtime to keep ice at a decent, you know, at a safe consistency or whatever. That isn't the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say. So this can be a bit nitpicky, however, it is fun. Maybe if I used one of these straight blades, I could make this little sharper, cleaner cut. Yeah, I would think that they really have to have make some adjustments to their HVAC or whatever, so that ice would be good. It wouldn't turn into slush, because that would be so dangerous. Okay, what's happening here? You're carving live on a gold mine. I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay, what's happening here? Oh, I'm really far behind. Okay, I love hockey. 16 miles straight east of Seattle. Only two. So honestly, Teresa, hi, Sandy. You and I are going to have to plan a meeting. Teresa saying, my house we built on this land his parents bought in 68 as recreation lots. I think she was trying to say living on a gold mine. Well, when Teresa had her house listed and shared some photos, it is a beautiful, beautiful property and so like the yard. All I could think of was how much work that was, but I'm going to retest this one. But that was, that's her thinking time and alone time and away from everybody else time. So, and of course, it helps when you have a longer growing season. And yeah, so just back to drought conditions. When we, if there is no snowpack in the mountains and there isn't, some rain coming at the right time in spring, farmers, which is us, you end up seeding, but nothing germinates. It's just like in your garden. And then because of the war in Iran, fuel prices are up, and fuel is one of the ingredients that is used to make fertilizer. So farmers are going to be pummeled by the weather, by fuel and fertilizer costs. Haven't weeded yet. That's her biggest job. Her back hurts just thinking about it. I'm thinking like Kat is talking about Thunder. So is that a university team or what? Okay, I still had a bit of debris there. Don't know. Okay, those little specks. Now I should have, maybe I can use this wipe. So yeah, you have to kind of be aware of what crumbs might leave you, little rubber crumbs. Let's see, is that? I still have some areas that are not good enough. And again, or maybe they are, depending on what a person is aiming for. And of course, when you're doing this little fine tuning, that's when you end up with more little crumbs. that you better remember to remove. So maybe this little idea of a plaid wasn't the easiest one in the world. Maybe we should try something different. And I can continue to fine tune this. Whoops, this guy needs it too. Getting when the ice, back to hockey, when the ice is not perfect, and of course at the NHL level, obviously they flood, they Zamboni the ice between every period. Those men are flying around at incredible speeds, and so on. Now, I've talked about my grandson who may, if Sandy is still here, may end up getting picked up by a college team in Wisconsin. So Sandy and I might finally get to meet. The Madison Capitals are interested in him. We shall see. He's in grade 11, just 16 years old. Anyway, so on 2 occasions, that was pretty scary. He had been invited to a training camp in Alberta, in Calgary hit him. And we, of course, that's only about a 4.5 or so hour drive. So we went there. We were going to make a whole family thing of it. He gets on the ice, and does his shift, and there doesn't seem to be any problem. Then we notice that he's out there again for another shift, and the ref has essentially stopped the game and is asking who's hurt because there's blood on the ice. And, I guess nobody really knew. Well, it turned out that my grandson had caught an edge with his skate and managed to cut his own ankle with his own skate. So one skate cut the ankle, right above the boot of the skate, on the other leg. So anyway, they get him off the ice. They call an ambulance. And skates are really tight. So as long as all that pressure was being on, the blood was sort of staying where it was. But the minute they removed the skate, obviously blood everywhere. And he did go by ambulance, and of course had to have surgery. So, an imperfect ice surface can really be quite dangerous. Okay, what's happening? Lived in Las Vegas. Just a minute. Let me see what's happening here. Thunder local hockey team, semi-pro. Oh, now you have the Kraken. Okay. So the team that we are closest to and that we cheer for are the Oilers, and we have Connor McDavid. Now they are having a bit of a struggle this year. Of course, where else would I be? Yeah, it was scary. And of course, that was his first shift off the tournament, or maybe it was a tournament. I don't know what it was. This is a couple years back now. Anyway, so he felt so bad because here, many of us driven, we had hotel rooms, and I said, "Oh, don't be silly. That's not the issue here. It's how are you? How will you recover?" That kind of really put a cramp in his season that year. And you know, I think he was very lucky he didn't cut his Achilles tendon, because that would have been a miserable thing to recover from. Okay, that's looking better, I would say. So let's just, for the heck of it, you know, I wanted to say hell of it, go the other, I'm just kind of removing some of this excess ink because I'm going to flip this over. We're still on this same, the same original block here. Let's try, see how well I can do a curved line. Again, these are just, okay, so maybe I'm going to say that the X's will be the parts I reserve because that's some of the wider area. So this one is not. Actually, I wonder, maybe the strategy here is to just take off as little as you can. Because really, I don't need to dig all the way to China to get to make a difference in the surface. And then maybe a person is less likely to make something that needs some remedying. Okay, let's do another stripe or wave and then test this one. So Sandy, I said to Grady when he called for my birthday, I said, and send us some pictures and keep us posted. Like, we're retired, we're semi-retired. You know, if you are invited to their training camp in August, you know, maybe we can be there. So he did send pictures, and he did get called by the Madison Capital, which is, I guess, a college team there. In, I don't know what month that was, and played 3 games and was, I guess, did well. So now, see, I shouldn't be well, let's just test this. I was going to say I shouldn't be going back over my work because I think I just might have made a boo-boo there. But again, some of these roughest stamps here, look, I did do chicken tracks. Whoops. Some of the roughest ones are the ones I like the most. Oops, don't pick such a small blade. Let's try this one, and then I'll test it. I don't know, did I say that I tried to watch the Masterboard Madness video for today, which is Gigi's, but it hadn't been posted yet. So I have to say I'm really loving what I'm seeing so far. And yesterday, when I should have been doing other things, what was I doing? I was copycatting Angela with her idea of using transparency. So that's how some days go, you know? Just had a plan and threw it out the window. And I think if a person didn't, because of course at some points these pencil marks could create a problem for me. But I think if a person really wanted an organic looking result, could just basically wing it and save that stem. I wouldn't do that though if it was a more intricate thing. Okay, we've got about 4 things there. I don't think I have enough room on that paper. So, no, my grandson. This, again, I said earlier that I think maybe when I unwrap the next block, I think I would try to figure out a way, and that might mean, going to the kitchen and getting out a cutting board or something. I would cut one of these in half, I think, just to make it a little more manageable, and also gonna have a boo-boo there. To have it a little more manageable, because this is kind of a handful even when you're trying to ink it. So those lines are, some of those are going to show, so that's going to have to be fixed. Yeah, Cynthia had some nice pieces on her community, what you call it? Community post, community page. Oh, yeah. So, of course, Sandra, you could still use those. The only thing is you can't digitize them if you do something very beautiful. Well, not, and you couldn't either with bought stencils. Okay, Teresa says our 11th grade grandson told he's going to live in Puerto Rico. His stepdad said, "Are you going to what are you doing to prepare for that?" Working on my 6-pack. And he wasn't joking. So between now and next year gets a little more ambition. Junkie Cat Junction. So can I assume that's Stacy? You can't get anything past me. Sandra says, "Hi, Stacy." And then Teresa says, "Hi, Stacy," and puts in the, okay, let me write this down. Besides Cynthia, is it EY? EY. Junkie Cat. Besides Cynthia that we talked about in Sandra's live yesterday, Teresa, help me remember who else I was supposed to think about. Susie, who else was I supposed to remember for Heart to Heart? Okay, I've got little eraser crumbs on here. And you can see now those things are nice, but oh my goodness. Unfortunately, I've carved too far down on some of the other areas. So now I feel like I have to remove this. again, it would be good if a person, but it's a practice thing, you know, it's like everything else. So for those of you who didn't see, Susie says his muscles or his beer? Because, you know, there are six packs and then there are six packs. When I saw that bit about Puerto Rico, I thought, oh, the kid's a ball player, which would make his Nana very happy. Because aren't there a lot of Puerto Ricans who make it into professional baseball? I mean, I don't watch baseball. I don't know anything about it other than that bit of trivia. Okay, so that's not that bad a thing, although, and again, this is being very picky. I think that this is a very wide bar here. So if I don't like that the way it is, I can always choose to do something else to it. Let's see what this very definite V does. I could maybe just do a thin little. This is actually a better thin little tool than that narrow guy I was using. Cool. And again, this is like only as good as my ability to kind of, oh, I just made a couch in my, only as good as my ability to sort of, you know, do a fluid motion here. You certainly wouldn't want to do distracted carving or distracted or impaired carving. Maybe I should do a little guy on the edge here. Whoops, veered off. Okay. Okay, I believe that I can sell them as a digital kit as long as I created artwork with using the product. So only when you stamp the product, that makes sense. I don't know about that, to be honest. Like, I know that with many things you have to, the modification, like the thing, whatever element it is, has to be modified to such a degree that it's unrecognizable in its original form. But yeah, I don't know. And I know that the girls at well, girls and boys, I remember talking about that to Mariah and Patricia. I interviewed them for Heart Heart. They're the mother-daughter from PM Artist Studios. And I said something to that effect about, because of course they have stencils and stamps. Oh, so there's even crumbs on here. Stencils and stamps that designers have created for them. And so I said something to that effect about, you know, copyright protection and that. And they said, you know, you can approach the original artist that created the stencil or the stamp. And sometimes they have an angel policy as well. So, you know, I guess I'm a bit of a chicken, and I'm just reluctant to take some of those chances. Okay, I'll put this exactly beside this one so that we can hopefully pick up the differences. Okay, thank God his abs. So his mom was always going to move to Philly at that age. Still here with 4 kids, so things can change. I wish he would play baseball. Yes, the ball players from Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. Originally from Massachusetts, growing up Boston, reason the bomb, especially Big Poppy Davis. Susie, you type faster than it's like she I need like closed captioning or creative reading to be able to, to decipher something. Definitely glad it wasn't worse. We had a team in Texas. Well, what do you mean had? Dallas Stars there? Or are you talking something other than pro NHL? Okay, I must not have been pressing very evenly, but I think this looks automatically more interesting than this does. So I'm glad I did it. I also think, again, this is me critiquing my own work and maybe harshly, but I think that these variations, like going from skinny to wider, is also a more interesting look than trying to have it too uniform. Maybe I will continue doing this, using this, is this the V-shaped one? No, this one is. I'm going to continue, maybe I'll start at the other end. Okay, some stamps do have like that angel policy, but for the most part can be used in layering and creating art as long as it's not like how you're saying in that solid form. Okay. Autocorrect. Red Sox and David Ortiz. Cool. Okay, I'm going to try again. Vary the width of the line more. I'm going to ignore these marks for the most part, and I'm also going to see if I can preserve some of these. Mind you, I will not end up with these sorts of marks because I'm not going to go as wide, I don't think. So and maybe you probably can't see a darn thing. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to do another down here because that is pretty narrow. So maybe I'll end up with a little ridge in between. Well, let's just keep going. I mean, what have we got to lose here? Nothing. Did anybody watch the Oscars the other night? I haven't done that for years. I had the TV on in the background, though. Did you notice all those men wearing brooches? I knew that, I could obviously I don't know the woman's name, but the woman who won for costume design came up and had 3 brooches clustered on her bosom, which was pretty nice. And then I noticed Channing Tatum had a brooch. Of course, we remember him from the Full Monty. And then other men showed up wearing brooches. So I guess that fad or whatever it was is hanging in longer than I thought it would. Of course, if I had somewhere fancy to go, I could slap on a whole bunch of brooches because for a while I was um, buying brooches, and I'll do a few more and we'll see what's happening here. And you'll notice that I turned the block around and started entering from this side, like I changed ends. So let's maybe do that again and see if that makes a difference. I hope that you guys all tune in tomorrow for Heart to Heart. I'm interviewing an artist called Kit Bell, and her, oh, seems better when I can do this without pause. If I do it in one fell swoop, but for some reason I stopped there. I think it's going to be very interesting. She started doing photo, well, I wouldn't say photorealism, but very, very recognizable art, and now it's more mixed media. And of course that is, and her work is so ethereal. It's beautiful. That is a bit of a sharp corner there. Again, I'm sorry because you probably can't tell what the heck is going on here when it's pink on pink. Oh, I veered. Okay, let's stamp this baby up. I think I need a new sheet. Yeah. Where's Chris? So yes, Magic Mike. His head is practically shaved right now. I don't know, did he do that for a role, or like I was trying to remember the last time I've actually been in a theater to watch a movie, and it was many years ago, well, many Marches ago, when my kids said, "Okay, what do you want to do for your birthday?" And I had read the book A Man Named Otto by now is he a Swede? Someone from the Netherlands. Is his name Thomas Bachman, maybe? Anyway, the book was incredible. Makes you laugh, it makes you cry. And then, of course, Tom Hanks, bought the rights to it and cast himself in the lead role. And so that was that when that movie hit the theaters, I wanted to see it. So we went to one of those fancy dancy places where you're sitting in like in recliners, and if you're sitting in a certain area, you even have like a little side table and a coat hook for yourself. So pretty snazzy and comfy. And so that was the last time I was actually in a theater. So nobody's going to stay in business waiting for my um you know um my ticket. my But yeah, and I think that movie has since appeared on Netflix or Prime or someplace like that. So if you haven't watched it, you definitely should, because, well, number one, Tom Hanks doesn't do crap, and secondly, the underlying story is so, so good. So, what say you? I think that this is better than this, which is the other end of this same stamp. I got very, very close right there. Holy cow, that could have gone either way. And there too. Looks like I did touch. But again, oh, sorry, I probably wasn't in the I hope that you mind you, you do need the tools. I don't know that any other thing would, like, I mean, obviously the erasers, if you don't, I don't know what these ended up costing each, but these blocks, but you can see how much use you get out of them. Don't know what I don't think there's a substitute for these tools, like, how we always like to find a hack or a cheaper version of find a way around paying full retail. And I honestly have never seen them in a thrift store either. Should I do an eraser just for the heck of it? Did I put... Looks like spaghetti. Okay, maybe I should reach for an eraser. Let's do this oval one just for the heck of it. Now I could, how about if I try to draw a leaf shape? Because I don't think I did that, which kind of looks like almost like wood grain. Is that the only oval I've done? Oh, here's another one. Oh, this is like leaves. It's a fence. That'll put a few cows in. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. That's going to be tricky there. Whoops. Again, if you do have a second chance to try to salvage your, like, if, for instance, this is not good here, but I can just choose to correct, or I have the opportunity to correct that when I actually go to carve it. Maybe we'll try to make it look like that leaf has turned. Mine. This is some kind of a mutation that these two different shaped leaves on the same plant. When I say money tree, are you familiar with what plant that is? I know it's kind of a big deal around here. The woman that does my nails has many of them growing. See, this leaf is totally wrong. So I either have to make this guy more similar. Anyway, I have one that's very big, and they have such lousy, weak stems that I have a piece of wood in there holding it. I'm sorry to be putting you through this. Now, of course, there is another way to approach this where you you make that a net, you preserve the positive space and carve everything else away. I don't care for that. Let's see how I can save this. I wonder if I need to maybe down one size. Now I'm getting these probably these handles mixed up, but they should be interchangeable. Okay, Michael's. Was someone asking where to get the tools? Okay, bye, Kat. Thanks for being here. I think I'm going to be ending this fairly soon. Again, like I said, it's a bit of a trick to figure out exactly. Oh, well, it would help if I was putting the right end in. Geez. That was dumb. Yeah, so these speedball gouge, carving kits they're not that expensive. And honestly, it is a lot of fun. Of course, if you go with erasers, that's going to be really affordable too. And again, I'm sorry, I don't know what these guys cost. And it depends on any game. I got lots. I guess I had big aspirations. Okay, I'm going to do very rough cuts so that I have all these little gouge marks. So I'm just essentially taking away very little, which means that it'll be a very textured stamp. And hopefully no botanist will look at this and say, well, what kind of a mutated thingamajig is that? It's got elliptical leaves and it's got round leaves. But I did notice, because I've started, of course, there's nothing growing under the snow. But I did get flowers for my birthday, and I have some house plants. So I did a little pruning yesterday and dug out my old flower press and am back pressing flowers. So I know that quite often on the same plant, like green plants, nothing that blooms, sometimes you end up with round leaves and more elongated leaves, so not totally out to lunch here. There, I got a plant given to me. I normally would have liked it. It has variegated colored leaves, kind of veering on the purpley green side. But honestly, I don't know what the heck is the matter. Maybe it needs more humidity than we have in the house. But I don't like plants that don't cooperate and are kind of needy. So I think that guy's days are numbered. So I took some of the leaves that didn't yet have dry, curling, dead tips on them, and put some of those in the flower press yesterday. So we shall see if I get some good dried leaves out of the equation. There might be a little memorial service for that guy when it's put out of his misery. Oh, Terry. Oh my goodness, Terry. So long since I've seen you. How are you, my dear? Has something been has there I don't know. I missed you, kid. I hope all has been well. Okay, and what is Teresa saying there? So mild here. Had roses all year. Rosemary's bloomed twice already. Candy stuff bloomed a month early. The plants are so confused. No kidding. I think that doing okay. Well, that doesn't exactly sound like such a rousing endorsement. Have you not been well and I'm the last to know, or what? You know, I say it so often, I'm making myself sick of hearing it. Um, but about comments. And so sometimes I think, well, people commenting less. YouTube has, buggered things up, in my opinion, with how they're handling comments. But there are people that I still anxiously look for and are concerned about because, um, when I get to know somebody, I I stay invested. Okay, I'm gonna do a mark or two more, and then we'll test this. I think this is going to need some refinement. Okie dokie. We can fit this on here, I'm sure. So, oh, hi, Julie. We're not going to be here much longer. Unless we decide to stay just because you've finally arrived. No, that finally did sound nice. That's not what I meant. Not what I meant at all. I appreciate your presence. I've been carving stamps, and these are ones that I've done on erasers in previous videos, but I requested some real carving blocks, and I got them for Christmas. So I was trying them out here with the ladies. And then I thought, well, probably no time to start a new one. Let me finish up with an eraser. Oh, I'm almost out of sight here. Oh, that's not as bad as I thought. Now, what I don't like is over here where these don't bleed out to the edge, but that may be okay. And I think I need to make this a little narrower here. Or what do you guys think? Like, would you recognize that as a plant if I hadn't told you I was doing a plant? Or does it even matter? Should I carve out a line here, 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 here? Like, the veining on a leaf with my with this V-shaped one. See, this part here that I thought was too thick is right here where I haven't carved it close enough. See, now the nice thing, after you've stamped it, you get to see what is being inked, like what is obviously where the high points are. Now this is a bit of a weird thing too. Yeah, so, Julie, did you do it on erasers or did you do it on real carving blocks like these pink ones? Okay, I'm going to see if I can, maybe if I did this like a paring knife, I just want to cut that little itty bitty thing off the end. Oh, that worked. I'm always surprised when something works. Okay. These marks here, which are these marks here, kind of unfortunate because they almost look like foliage in themselves. Oh, Susan is saying, leave that. Leave it, it's gorgeous. We did both erasers and the rubber sheets. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Susie is going to be cringing. I'm just doing a little teensy cleanup. Okay, I have to do, wait, that's not a good look there. We'll get rid of that. And I'll do this little thing. We were also talking about plants. I can't believe that in Washington that Teresa has had plants blooming already. Like, I didn't think it was that much milder there. Mind you, we've all acknowledged it's a weird year weather-wise, so weird everywhere. Okay. Yes, it's a plant. When you said paring knife, what about a vegetable peeler? The edge for the apple core. Okay, so it must have been Debbie who last week. Let me roll back through these comments. So hi, Debbie. Okay, you're saying that used a Stencil Girl stencil to create a stamp based on abstract stencil design in reverse. Oh, and you put in the link to Julie's video on stamp. Okay, it was fun, Terry. I'm hoping Taylor can join me again. Her school schedule is busy right now. Used to crocus and heather, but not rosemary or candy tuft. Okay, I'm going to restamp this to see what little tweaks I've done. Now, a vegetable peeler. Okay, the kind that I have is the long one, you know, with the thing inside. But then there's that other style, you know, where the blade, the carving, the cutting part is over here. I think you'd have to be willing to take that apart. I don't know that you could use it in the holder. And of course, you'd end up with, you know, sharp edge on both on both ends, so that might be dangerous unless you taped it off or covered it with masking tape or something at the end you're holding. I think that because the the handles and everything are not that expensive, a person should probably trace the design with an ink pen, then cut it out. So maybe Debbie has something to offer in the way of information or a theory or advice, although I'm sure she's not a lawyer, copyright lawyer. If we were talking about this earlier in the chat, if a person is using commercial, like using stamps or stencils that you did not create yourself, I'm trying to look and talk at the same time. If you are using stamps or stencils that you did not create yourself, my feeling is that I would be afraid to digitize them for fear of copyright infringement. Now, Sandra said, or her theory is that if you, because I'm sure she's not offering legal advice either, she said that if you're changing it to some degree, quite a bit, so it's unrecognizable, that it would be fine. So, have an opinion, Debbie, that you're prepared to share with us? And can we have your number if we need to call someone to post bail? Oh, an angel policy. Well, and I've been thinking, I might have said this I don't know where I said this, or maybe I was just thinking it. Sometimes it's hard to know. Did I say this out loud or was I talking to myself? Like I'm thinking I need to really buckle down and make ATC cards, the intention of using them as business cards. I am biting the bullet and paying for a booth at an antique show in May. So that would be nicer than a business card. Let's try this one again. So a person, I could use, maybe tell me in the comments, have you mass made artist trading cards to use as a business card? And did you, got a little boo-boo here. Did you use things that of your own creation, like maybe gel print plates, carved stamps, slow stitching, anything like that? Because of course we have that in-person retreat coming up, so each of us are working on some stuff to put in the swag bags. And I'm thinking, I'd like to give a little piece of myself to everybody. So maybe there would be degrees of complexity or whatever. It's also not an exact design since you carve, you make alternative. Oh yeah, the angel policy stuff. Well, and I know that when sorry for repeating myself, but when I interviewed Patricia and Mariah from PM Artist Studios, and basically kind of said the same thing. You know, if a person is, you buy all this stuff, um, well, Susie, and I think I'd have to mail you one anyway, because if you're so near and dear to me. And Teresa, of course. I think that, honestly, can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Okay, Angel Policy, PM Artist Studios, talking to Mariah and Patricia, mother-daughter team. I was saying, okay, I think that's better. That's the evolution. Although, now this is kind of a vacuum here. I probably went a little too far there. Didn't clean up very well here. And the question was, if I put a vein in those leaves, is that going to lose the essence of them being leaves? Okay, PM Artist Studios. I said, okay, if a person uses those things and creates something and then, you know, digitize it, you know, in my scaredy cat interpretation, I would consider that a copyright infringement. And they said, well, you know, the best bet is to contact the creator. And because, you know, these people are quite accessible. So for instance, Darcy, I interviewed her. Eddie makes art, no veins. And she's yelling, no veins. And Teresa's essentially saying, what about dots for the veins? Oh, I don't think I don't know how to dots. How do you do dots? Boy, this is the longest sentence or the slowest sentence to ever emerge in the history of talking. So, okay, some of those creators I have interviewed in Heart to Heart. So Darcy's Mixed Media, or Darcy's Mixed Media Misadventures, or something like that. Eddie Makes Art. What else? Who else? Maybe those are the two. So the option exists because these people are not living in ivory towers somewhere. They're on the internet. You know, they show up in lives at PM Artist Studios. Darcy is part of Masterboard Madness this year. She couldn't say yes last year, but she was a late addition this year. So a person could probably reach out to these people, and they would more than likely they would say yes. Some of the stencils and stuff that are sold through PM Artist Studios were created by Mariah and Patricia. So maybe they probably say yes too. I don't know. I've never gone that route. I just thought it was safer not to ask. Okay, Mary is saying, yeah, that's sort of where I'm going, that I think it's a copyright infringement unless it is so layered and so disguised in a sense that it's unrecognizable in its original form. And I think that when we think about copyright infringement, again, not a lawyer, not trying to give advice, just basically stating my own position. I think I also try to put myself in the shoes of the creator, thinking that, okay, if it was mine, would I want every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be using it, creating something that, that they're making money off potentially without attribution or credit being given? There's kind of that whole golden rule thing. Julie, I don't know if you do it or not, but I use both sides of the eraser, particularly if they are thick. In this case, I kind of curved that. So I'm just pulling these out for the people who came later and didn't see them. And I do have 2 videos on my channel. One was done a few years ago when I did the 100-day project. Love this poppy pod. Love this rose and this thing. Love this one. Here, I got rid of everything but the leaf shape, so then you don't have to worry about, I don't know if this was supposed to be leopard prints or whatever. How about some chicken scratch? And then these itty bitty ones. I was just so pleased. Oh, this was something that almost looks boho-ish. I should try something like that again with an eraser, where you've got oh dear, look at that. Well, it has to be chopped off. Okay, so let's see what you people have been saying. I like the little houses. Yeah, I don't remember when I did those little houses. Where are they? Oh, right here. I've got a thing for little houses. Okay, yes, Debbie, it has to be like Hazel is saying, unrecognizable. I agree, Mary, unless it's a mix of several products and no product is singular, like a collage. Great idea. Yeah, both sides. I worked for Michaels back in the day and used to be present when the legal team gave advice to designers. Oh, see, once when I was unemployed, I thought, oh, I'd like to work at Michaels. But then it would have been driving for an hour each way to work for probably not much more than a minimum wage. And then I thought, yeah, I'd probably spend more than I made. And then I think a person kind of gets caught up in the glamour part and forgets that, okay, well, they're not hiring you because they think you're so creative. They're hiring you to dust shelves, out product, answer customer questions. So I haven't done one like this for a while. Anyway, I think that I'm just about ready to call it a day. Oh, before we do that, Julie, did you say how a person could make dots? I'd be willing to try that if you tell me quick like. And if I have the right tool. Is it with this tiniest little gouge? Maybe that's how I got those, where is it? This reminds me of a bone or something. These are not very good circles. Oh, worked for their regulatory department, traveled around the world for them. Okay, but did you travel to Edmonton? That's the question. Traveled around the world, best job ever. And Debbie says that they have a corporate distribution and corporate office north of her, too far. Thanks, Cynthia. 4 words. Oh, okay. Maybe with a gel print after stamped. I was thinking it would cool, but not how to accomplish. Oh, great. Give me a, uh, like back in the day, what was that? Mission Impossible or something, where they would get their message and your mission, should you choose to accept it. I wish that Michaels, and I'm, of course, I'm in Canada, so maybe your Michaels are doing something different. It burns me up how much space and time, well, not time, but how much space they are giving to Cricut. Like there is a whole aisle of Cricut machines and vinyl and whatever other accoutrement there are. Like, I don't know. And it seems that their stencils and their stamps and their ink pads are getting fewer and further apart. Whoops. That their embossing folders are next to pretty well disappeared. So I don't know. I guess, probably greater minds than ours are looking at the profitable lines. A dot painting tool. It has hollow core. A dot painting core. Oh, Vicky. Thanks. What would be sharp enough? Because wouldn't that be a good thing to be able to do little perfect circles? I just can't think how about a very tiny, oh, you know what? Like maybe a stainless steel, mostly their own brand and not a big selection. An eyelet setter tool might make a circle cut, then carve out. I have the big, just a minute. I like when we do problem solving in real time. Let me find one of my skinny, or I could, hey, but will this cut right through? Let me experiment on this cheap little eraser. Some of you girls who got here late didn't see my awesome eraser collection. Do you think I have enough erasers to take me to the end of my life? Look at these. Look at these. I was saying you could get 6 different designs on a big guy like that. Okay, none of these are very thin. This is probably those pink erasers. I think they're inferior to the ones we had in school, to be honest, but I can try. Okay, let me try one of those in my, what should we call it, Big Bite? Although, will it not? Oh, too big. It fits, it would fit here in the throat where you do the eyelid setting, but not in the part where you see a skinny guy like this. I had these that were like had Canadian currency on them. A 20, a 50. $100 bill. Which one do I like the least? I think this one. Okay. Hold your horses and hold your breath. Let's see what happens. There's hardly any surface left here, though, to... I'll try close to the... Okay, I'm using the 3/16. Let's see if I can make a... Trying to find an area that... Oh! Do you see that? It made a hole right through. Okay, so, well, I think this is too thick. But maybe, since it's kind of squishy and pliable. Let's... Oh, it doesn't squeeze under there. I do not have the handheld one. I don't know if those jaws open. Oh, maybe. Oh. But I'll only be able to get very close to the... Oh. So, I was going to say the hole is cleaner on the top side. Yeah, it maybe because I was yanking at it. It is not a perfect... let's try another one adjacent to it. It is not perfect, but then who cares? Oh. Okay, we've got two circles. Oh. Yes, the hand setter. Just press to get an impression and don't worry about... Yeah, don't break your crocodile. Yeah, no kidding. And it is, it's now plugging. I mean, that thing can get poked out. I just wonder, I might have... Oh, but we've almost been here an hour and a half. Should I try to find my hand setter? Or why don't I? Okay, since I've already kind of... I'll go to the opposite end here and just see what happens if I just put it in and turn. That's probably how I ended up with those things that I'm calling leopard stripes. Hey, how about a drill? A drill. I thought I had one of those Japanese screw punches. I'm just going to... Okay, that's... We don't call that a circle where I come from. Boy, see if I can find that quick like. Oh, this could be the cat's meow, guys. Okay, can you see? It's not like it's got a beveled, or it's got a thing here and a thing on the other side. Okay, but how do I do this? Let's get this useless piece of crap, put it under here to save my desk. So the Japanese screw punch, essentially, you just go like so. Now, so, you know, if you've watched Rachel from Roxy Creations, she's always using like this to make her holes for her signatures. Oh, and look, bonus, it's making marks in this wooden thing, or this dried up thing. Now, and for those farm girls among you, this almost is working like a post hole auger. You know, back in the day when a farmer would be making post holes or holes for poles, fence poles. And it would, but in that case, it was like a little bucket at the end, and you had to bring the soil that you were cutting through up and discard it because, of course, it had no place to go. So this is not exactly the answer. However, hey, I can do it on this. I hope I'm not ruining this. I don't even know where I got it. I think it was just in a toolbox. Whoops. I cannot believe that. You guys made me do it. A chisel works on some of it, I guess. Don't tell him he doesn't miss them. Cocktail umbrella collection must be the same, right? You have to go all the way through. Just a pokey tool rocked around, give you pressure too. So, Teresa, I'm always surprised when you say that some comments, that YouTube has an opinion on some comments. Honestly, unless I'm dulling this little blade thing here, I'm pretty pleased that I tried it on here because this is impenetrable stuff. I was doing a public service announcement at the beginning saying, don't ever, 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 ever buy one of these dried up things when you see them in thrift stores because it's a waste of money. Okay, let's just, for the heck of it, ink this up a smidge and see if those three little holes do anything. And then we will call this a day. Well, we're going to get all the surface around it. That is the negative space. So, I mean, kind of poor job inking, but I wonder why the third hole didn't really show up. Let me just try to enlarge these a bit. Oh, just maybe I could cut a hole in my desk. You guys are such good sports hanging around for this goofiness. Yes, there's nowhere for that debris to really go. Unless I haven't broken through really at the back. Very close, but not quite. Oh, and now I'm making these micro marks here. Julie, this is all your fault. She innocently said, what about dots? And then we go off on a tangent. Okay, try again. It takes a village. Maybe it's a sexting thing. Who knows? We use them on our farm. I'm thinking she means post-hole augers. Lowe's themselves for farmers. How funny. This or cleaning the bathroom. Which one to choose? Oh my God. No contest. Yeah. I think Julie's enjoying this a little too much. Just saying. But I think that was it Debbie who said the eyelet setter, the manual kind. Oh, those little dots were just dust, like erase or block dust. But, if you wanted erratic little circles, I didn't. Okay, one last thing. See, I just keep saying one last thing, and that's how the hours go by. Let me pick. Boy, these two are very. I probably mixed up the attachment here. That it matters. The only, like one set, as I said earlier, has more pieces than the other. The only thing that the advantage to having two handles is that, you can pick two sizes, not have to fart around, changing the ends when you're on a roll. And don't judge ease of insertion by how I fumble around with this. Okay. That, it's making a smaller circle, about like the Japanese screw punch. But again, you do have to poke out the debris because as long as it stays in there, you're not going to have much of anything. And a person could always just go, yeah, just use all. My goodness, why didn't I think of that? Could have saved a lot of time. Again, you just want to be aware of, to get rid of the waste part, you do probably have to go all the way through. But honestly, an awl would work perfectly, and I have some that are, well, let me grab one. Oh, stars, night sky. So, love your thinking there. I think I cleaned out my little signature pouch, but maybe I have a couple of awls still in here. That's pretty small. Look at this nice old tool. And then this is the kind you get from a screwdriver set. Oh, I forgot that I have this. This is another one of those Amazon things with different bits. This is a version of that old thing there. Okay. Let's see, this I make. And this is kind of such a nice ergonomic thing. Oh, look, a nice clean hole. So how long did that take? That took a long time. Okay, are we going to pretend that this is a starry sky? If I, can I reach a blue? Well, there are more stars in the sky than this, but let's see if I can find mine. Another thing that I was putzing around with yesterday was some old stamp pads that I had. Things like this. I'm thinking, I was secretly hoping that they had dried up so I could get rid of them with clear conscience. But of course, they were still juicy as could be. Well, I guess we didn't need the leopard spot there. Okay, we'll see if this looks like a starry sky. Magical. Yeah, those algorithms. Oh, that okay, that obviously has these erratic things over here. Oh, you know what? If I wouldn't have stuck this in so far, see, I thought it was just, maybe transferring, dirt or whatever. But it actually, can you see that? It made darker circles around here. Huh. So I shouldn't have pushed it through as far. Let's see how I go without making contact. Ugh. Okay, we don't end up with the little circle. Do I have to do the Big Dipper? I don't know which way does the dipper face. I'm thinking it goes sort of the handle from the left. Oh, I almost went too far. Light. This is where it would be easy to poke yourself from the back on the backside. This is a bit of a, takes a bit of doing. But yeah, a person could come up with a design. This is going to be so like grade 1. I don't even know. Person should have a reference photo, but if we're going stars, I just thought I could do that. Very. Okay, we'll try this and see what happens. Oh, I accidentally inked those two that the, what do you call it? Crocodile made. We'll get to see how sharp those are. That's my dirty hand there. Oh, this is going to be in reverse. Okay. Okay. Actually, what I was thinking, it turns through the night, but most pictures show the handle on the left and the cup on the right. Okay, but I should have done it in reverse because it's going to be the North Star. Thanks, Cynthia. Well, that's not oh, and I didn't obviously press down very much where these two circles were. I didn't know that stars turn. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think there are easier ways to make circles than those two. But I do like these smaller ones, and I think that the all is the answer because it is, the holes, that's pretty darn uniform. Some of these others, well, mind you, I tried different things here. This screw thing, it's not round, so it's obviously the holes aren't going to be perfectly round either, but anyway. So this guy's life was sacrificed in the cause of experimentation. Anyway, guys, we turn in reality. Okay, what's happening? Your stamp is very early morning or daylight time. Nebulas. Yes, I watch Star Trek. We turn in reality. Oh, well, of course. But when you said the handle goes from left to right, I must have been absent that day in science as we were as the Earth was orbiting. Did you all know why you can't see your zodiac constellation at night on your birthday? Because it's there during the daytime. Need to join a techie live. Okay, guys, I think we're going to call it a day. I will continue to work on this. It's going to be a mishmash since I made those gouge marks there. I was glad I was able to show you my eraser collection because I think they're pretty proud of a lot of them. Those of you who were here early enough saw printed examples, and I don't know if these will all fit in here. Anyway, just so glad I found them. Got two just happened right before we went live. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. You can use the Big Dipper to tell time at night. Vicky gets the little warning to behave. This has been fun. I will have a little bit of a challenge getting clean. Libby, you were so quiet. Should I be telling them that you have I won't tell the details, but Libby is planning a collab, her first collab, I believe, in May. She's inviting some people and I think throwing it open to anybody else who wants to. So, it's stay tuned for that because it'll be a good one. The magical event happens few and few and far between. Okay, so remember tomorrow, Kit Bell, an artist who went from realism to real ethereal, beautiful pieces that she does with botanicals and tissue paper and gel plates and all of that. You know, speaking our language, in other words. Anyway, guys, try to watch and edit. Okay, so Libby said that her lab will be open. So, and of course, I hope you'll send the info to Susan so she can post it when you are ready to throw it open. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here, and we shall see you hopefully tomorrow when I talk to Kit Bell. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Go carve some erasers.